We're back for another one. So today we're going to be doing another dad reaction. So yeah, the last video on the toasted marshmallow breaks, that was basically a dad reaction. And today we're going to be talking about the Hell's Angels actually, as it relates to Icarus, the guy that just punched Rick Ross in the face, as well as Madchild. So today, mainly we're going to be talking about Madchild and his battle record, and we're going to be talking about like morality issues in hip hop again. So yeah, that video with the toasted marshmallow breaks, that was basically a dad reaction, because when I was a teen and I picked up that record, it's like I didn't see it. I literally just saw a bunch of wild style graffiti, and I was like, oh, I didn't look at the details. So we're gonna get very detailed today. This isn't gonna be too long of a lecture, but we're starting here with the Black Spades. A lot of people don't know hip hop started with the Black Spades, the baby Black Spades. So that there was the Black Spades that was the actual gang, New York street gang. But the baby Black Spades were a bunch of teens and tweens that the ones that started hip hop in Bronxdale houses. And we're gonna get into that really detailed in the future. We're gonna debunk the Sedgwick flyer, the fake Sedgwick flyer, all that fake 50 years of hip hop stuff. But yeah, so we're starting today with the Hell's Angels, and so I'm just showing you all this, the Black Spades jackets and all that type of stuff, just so y'all can see the history of it. Because at the time when segregation and apartheid was ending in the U.S., basically, hundreds of year war was basically ending on black people in the U.S. A lot of gangs formed in New York to protect their streets and protect their neighborhoods. So the gangs at these times were a lot more about, like, chasing out the pimps and chasing out the pushers and all that type of stuff, back in the 60s and the 70s. But then by the 80s everybody got on drugs, and a lot of people died, and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so I'm just showing you all this because it's just important to see the parallels between the early hip hop gangs and then the Hell's Angels, who we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to be talking about two Hell's Angels rappers, Madchild and Icarus. And also, you see here, this is Popmaster Fable. He actually just got hit by a car. For y'all don't know, that this used to be Christy Z from DMC's partner for years. I don't believe they're not together anymore. I believe she's with the cat from Mile High. But yeah, so he got in a really bad car accident. I really hope it's not gang related, because TC Islam is dead now, and he was saying that Bambaataa was threatening his life and all that type of stuff. But people, because he got slayed out here in Atlanta, and a lot of people in Atlanta, I mean, not a lot of people, but some close personal friends in Atlanta say TC was popping off at the mouth, and it has nothing to do with Bam. But who knows what's going on with all that, because Bam's still being investigated, and he's still been hiding for all these years. And we're going to talk about that stuff too, as it relates to Cornell, but that's another lecture. All right, so let me just give you a little brief history of kind of how hip hop's been distorted. So let's see, A Day in the Bronx, remembering the Black Spades and their connection to hip hop. So the notorious Black Spades was once the largest and most feared gang in New York City, hailing from the Bronx. The Spades had as their warlord hip hop pioneer Afrika Bambaataa. They were the precursors to hip hop. We caught up with many of the members, including original leader Bam Bam, who gave Bambaataa his name. We spoke with hip hop legend Popmaster Fable, who was finishing up a documentary on early gang culture called The Apache Line. All right, so and in his book he talks about how the Ghetto Brothers and the Black Spades joined forces. But the thing is that KRS-One has been speaking for years, saying Bambaataa joined all the gangs and ended the gang wars, and that's basically what happened in the movie The Warriors. For those that don't know that, you can reference that movie, The Warriors, but that didn't happen in hip hop, and so they kind of, try to make Afrika Bambaataa to be like Cyrus, and that really never happened. But we're gonna go into all that stuff in the future. So let's go back. Let's start with, we're gonna start with the Hell's Angels, and we're gonna go to this break record. Alvin's Ass Fuzz is the break record. It says Battle Break D's Nuts Volume 2. And so that's the main focus of today's lecture is the Battleaxe Records, release. And, so we're talking about morality and hip hop, and we're going to be talking about demoralization. Because, people are always talking about Sexy Red and all that type of stuff. And, obviously that's one wing of demoralization, but it's a much larger gamut. So on the other end of the spectrum, you have demoralization that's not from, the ratchet type of demoralization, but just, Hell's Angels punching people in the face. So we're going to start off with this. We can play with, because we're going to get into these topics as well, too. Right? Let's see. I think that Oakland show will be your last stop, nigga. Let's see. They cold foul. Remember in the other lecture, I was telling y'all that YouTube lets you have cue points on every single video. So I was hitting the number 6 on this song. Us, they not like us. You see that? You can just trigger it. You can hit it. They not like us. They not like us. Right? So you can actually like DJ with it a little bit. You can trigger this stuff. People don't know that. You can trigger with YouTube, especially if you got a fast internet connection. And the slower you make the latency, the more on point the trigger is going to be. All right, so yeah, we're going to get into some They Not Like Us stuff today. I just wanted to have that going for a second. All right, so let's close this. We're going to go through fast today. So, a lot of people say, oh, you're making these long lectures, but I'm going to try to go as fast as possible. All right, so let's play a little bit of this Rick Ross thing, just because we're going to be talking about Icarus as well. Icarus is the guy in this picture who's also a Hell's Angels rapper. So we're talking about the Hell's Angels rappers today and the Battleaxe record, break record, that was released by Hell's Angels rapper Madchild. So a lot of people say Drake is a Hell's Angel now, and and Hell's Angels have always been kind of in league with white nationalist type of groups and things like that. And there's a lot of M-bombs dropped in this attack, this assault. And notice that when he hits him in the face right when it happens, that when he says the word A in A minor, he hit him right at the climax of the song. So obviously it was orchestrated. Remember, they attacked the DJ, knocked the DJ out. And it was mostly people of the Euro diaspora attacking people of black diaspora. Oh, see, he hit him in the face right at A. You saw that? So he hit Rick Ross in the face right there. So, it is true that hip-hop, that's why I was showing you all the Baby Black Space stuff. It is true that hip-hop started with gangs, but the gangs that it started with, it wasn't like Crips and Bloods. It was more like local street kind of battalions that were protecting their neighborhood, because at that time, they were getting beat down by Italians, and there was a lot of racial attacks all over New York. So a lot of the black and Latino gangs emerged to protect themselves from the oppression, right? But now we see it's 2024, and these wars are still going on. But it was kids that started hip hop, so we're gonna be going to that in the future, because people try to act like it was, like it was Flash and Bambaataa and all of them. They were the second generation of hip hop. The first was just all teens and tweens. And then Bambaataa started started kind of stalking those teens and tweens. He was accosting and he was, I'll just say, he was Gary Glittering a lot of the people, the kids that were the early hip hop kids, because he was living in a lot of some of those projects. So it's just really important to see this because this is, you know, Hell's Angels beating down Rick Ross's whole crew, and people are saying that this is they're they're thinking that this is actually obviously going to escalate because, you know, people in Miami don't play. You know, 'cause it wasn't just Rick Ross that got hit. It was, you know, a lot of Rick Ross's crew, and you know, Rick Ross hasn't pressed charges against that guy, but you know, people in Miami really don't play. There's a lot of violence in Miami. And that's why Uncle Luke, you know, who was friends with Biggie and Tupac, stepped in and was like, "Hey, I was homies with Biggie and Tupac. I saw the same thing happen, and I don't want, you know, Drake or Rick Ross getting hurt."
What's up? Every day I'm hustling. What's up, nigga?
So it's interesting because he's saying, you know, they're kind of mocking Rick Ross and his songs, "Every Day I'm Hustling." And you know, if you listen to Rick Ross's song about the kind of like the roofie kind of song where he has "She Didn't Know It," I feel you know, Rick Ross deserves to get punched in the face. I'm not a proponent of violence or anything like that. I'm a pacifist myself. You know, I'm only fight if I'm cornered. You know what I'm saying? If I'm trapped in the corner and I have no way to escape or to diffuse a situation, then I would do that. But you know what I'm saying? I don't. You know, I think Rick Ross is a talented artist, but you know, him making that, you know, "She Didn't Know It" song, you know, that's evil. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about today is morality in hip hop and demoralization. So we're gonna go into that some more, and you know, we're gonna be talking about misogyny as well, because with the Hell's Angels, they're very much known for kind of, you know, smashing beer bottles in their heads and being giant womanizers and having all and drug trafficking and, you know, just all types of debauchery.
You gonna press us out in our fucking city, nigga? What's up?
You see that? So this cat right here with the white shirt is the only black Canadian dude that was with the whole crew of Hell's Angels. See, all this stuff is very sad because it gets us nowhere in hip hop. And it's sad to see, you know, black on black violence that's initiated by Hell's Angels, which is basically, you know, kind of a nationalist kind of group. And I had my own personal strange experience with the Hell's Angels. I was performing in Copenhagen in I guess Den Graaf Hall in Christiania, which is it's basically run by the Hell's Angels. It's like a little city within Copenhagen, and you know, like they have their own currency, these wood coins that are like 20 euros or something, and you know, it was just a weird experience. You know, like they're literally like, you know, selling all types of work and stuff on the street. You know, they had trees and stuff, but it was like, you know, it was just really weird to see the Hell's Angels running this area. There's another gang there too that was running stuff. But yeah, shout out to Victor Benet. He's a YouTuber. He's the one that booked me for that show, headlining at Den Graaf Hall. That guy got totally knocked out. You know, luckily nobody's hurt, but you know, people are saying all this stuff is about to escalate. So let me just close.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the event that happened over there. Let me tell you something. When the first dude stepped up to Rose, the little short fat one that looked like Bam Bam Bigelow from wrestling, when he stepped up.
So this is the guy that he's talking about, the Hell's Angel guy that snuffed him in the face.
And then I squat down in his eyes and told him what I said. Basically, boy, if I hit you, I'm going to see everything you ate for the last 2 days. His balls dropped out of his ass. He never said another word. He never did nothing. He was a straight buster. Then the nigga behind him said, "I know MMA." And then I got hit with a drink.
So
I'm still convinced ain't no nigga punch me. Somebody said, Rose, the nigga tried to punch.
So, he's trying to make light of it, but yeah, he obviously his whole crew got really, really beat down really bad, and he didn't get beat down because he was protected by his security, but his security got beat down
You.
really bad. And I've seen like let's say you go even all the way back to Vast Air. Vast Air had a beef with the online person, and the online dude and it was kind of a racial attack as well. It was a dude of the Euro diaspora, a big dude, kind of like the same dude that hit Rick Ross, and he came up to a show, and it was Cannibal Ox had just come out. They had a big buzz, and the dude punched Vast Air in the face and knocked out. I'm sorry, not Vast. He punched Vortal. He punched Vortal in the face and knocked out all his front teeth, and he had to have his jaw wired for the whole first tour, and it messed up their whole trajectory of Cannibal Ox. Cannibal Ox could have been way bigger if he hadn't been attacked.
He hit you. I say, nah. He had to throw a drink, because throwing a drink would have been way more disrespectful than screaming, I know MMA.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking on a lot of hip hop history, because here at TTM Academy, this is the apex of hip hop science. We go really, really detailed into every single matter that we investigate. So we did gangs before, whether it was the Crips and Bloods and things like that. But now we're going to be focusing on the Hells Angels, and we're going to be focusing on Madchild. But this is Icarus. This is the guy that punched him, and it's interesting because you see he's got God's plan here, and he's literally, which is literally a Drake. Um, title or whatever, and he's got his own God's plan thing here, and he was obviously repping Drake by attacking Rick Ross, who also had beef with Drake and made a diss track against Drake. But yeah, originally Icarus had his Instagram hidden, but now he's got it visible, so you can see it's visible here. And you can see that the type of tip he's on, and this kind of Canadian, West Canadian, Hell's Angel gangster rap. Basically, it's a whole large genre of it now. You see, he's literally a Hell's Angels, and we're gonna talk about the Hell's Angels, and also as it relates to because the main thing that we're going to talk about today is Battleaxe Records and the break record that Alvin's Asfas that I've seen in record stores, multiple record stores around the world, and I'm like, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, wow, that's cool, crazy. But, as a parent now, I'm like, whoa, that's, they shouldn't even be distributing that. So we're going to, and the people that are distributing it, I'm like, there's no checks and balances. There's no parental advisory warnings on vinyl. Because, if you have a CD back in 1995, you would have a warning on it. But vinyl, nobody was checking the covers, or there was never. Record stores are almost kind of more like magazine shops where all that weirdo stuff, like we talked about in the last lecture, was able to slip past people. So yeah, so that's this guy here. I just wanted y'all to see that, like, this is what Hell's Angel rap looks like. It's like people that are you know literally colonizing hip hop and taking it into a kind of uh, a white nationalist kind of direction. Because a lot of people try to say, "Oh, Hell's Angels aren't racist. They have black members," and they do. Just like the KKK, all types of groups have black members. But the thing is that they attack black gangs, and they attack black people and terrorize people's lives. And so I don't condone gangs on any level. I'm anti-gang. So yeah, we're talking about that today. But you can see how they're kind of these like Hell's Angels rappers are kind of using their using all the benefits of rap plus their own white privilege, and plus all these other different privileges to be able to make even more money than the underground black rappers. Because if you look at Battleaxe Records, they're probably making more money than a lot of the rappers from just the underground in the 90s in general. You know what I'm saying? And they were able to emerge out of that and still capitalize off of that. But yeah, we can see this whole kind of biker imagery. And this whole biker imagery was kind of set off by, the not the creator, but we're going to go to the guy who, Sonny Barger, this guy right here. So this I'm going to just read this really quick. Sonny Barger Jr., born October 8th, 1938, was an American outlaw biker who was a founding member of the Oakland chapter of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club in 1957. After forming the Oakland chapter, Barger was instrumental in unifying disparate Hells Angels chapters and had the club incorporated in 1966. Also, in the whole Oakland tip, I'm going to be out in the Bay doing a lecture this fall at Mills College. So if you're a promoter, just holler at me if you want to book me for anything extra. But yeah, I'm going to be out there, but I'll let y'all know about that. He emerged as the Hells Angels' most prominent member during the counterculture era and was reputed by law enforcement and media to be the club's international president, an allegation he repeatedly denied. The author Hunter S. Thompson called Barger the maximum leader of the Hells Angels, and Philip Martin of the Phoenix New Times described him as the archetypal Hells Angel, saying he didn't found the motorcycle club, but he constructed the myth. He authored 5 books and appeared on television and film. Barger served a total of 13 years in prison following conviction of heroin trafficking in 1974 and a 1998 conviction for conspiracy to bomb the clubhouse of a rival motorcycle gang, the Outlaws. He was also acquitted of murder in 1972 and of racketeering in 1980. Barger rejected accusations from law enforcement characterizing the Hells Angels as an organized crime syndicate and maintained that the club should not be held accountable for crimes committed by individual members. And the Crips and Bloods are saying the same thing, but I think all the Crips and Bloods should be swept up, in one big RICO. But we covered that in the past with Young Thug, and it's just crazy that hip hop is completely controlled by corporations that are pushing gangs now. So if you're trying to get signed, it doesn't matter if you can read music or you can play a saxophone. They just want you to be a gang member, and sometimes you can't even just be a gang member. You got to be second, third generation gang member, like King Von. They're literally signing people that are like gang royalty. Third, second generation gang members. It's really stupid. It's really asinine. But I do want to go really quick here to just the Hells Angels in general. But you can see that his whole image, this whole Sonny Barger type of image has been translated into all different types of things. Whether you want to say Ghost Rider or even Lobo. Like, I'm gonna close this right here. Like, you see Lobo, this whole Lobo image of like this kind of all powerful, because Lobo can't be beat. He's kind of like an all powerful biker. This whole kind of biker image is a very big thing in Canada and Middle America. A lot of European diaspora places have identified with Madchild and these type of rappers. So let me close these windows, and we're gonna talk about the depravity of Madchild and stuff like that with this one video. But we're gonna let me go over to here. Let's just talk about the Hells Angels real quick before we get into Madchild. And let's see. So yeah, let's see. All right. So yeah. So let's read Madchild right here. Okay. So Shane Bunting, born October 21st, 1975, better known by his stage name Madchild, is a Canadian rapper. He's part of the Vancouver-based hip-hop group Small and Members. In 2009, he released a solo EP titled The Madchild EP. In 2012, he released his first album titled Dope Sick, followed by Lawnmower Man. 2013, Darkest Hour. Let me skip ahead. In legal troubles in early 2012, it was reported that Bunting was banned from entering the United States due to alleged links to the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Bunting said that he was detained at an American airport for approximately 8 hours before being told he could not enter the country, and he had been working with a lawyer in San Diego to rectify the situation. In 2013, it was announced that Bunting was once again allowed to enter into the United States. So let me click on the Hells Angels Motor Club. So the Hells Angels Motor Club HAMC is an international outlaw motorcycle club whose members typically ride Harley-Davidson motorcycles in the United States and Canada. The Hells Angels are incorporated as the Hells Angels Motorcycle Corporation. Common nicknames for the club are the HA, Red and White, HAMC, and the 81. With a membership of over 6,000 people and 467 chapters in 59 countries, the HAMC is the largest outlaw motorcycle club in the world. And we're gonna be talking about Bambaataa stuff, because with Zulu Nation, he was running it as a gang, and they were covering up Bambaataa's atrocities. Many police and international intelligence agencies, including the United States Department of Justice, the Criminal Intelligence Service of Canada, the Australian Federal Police, Europol consider the club an organized crime syndicate, right? So that's very, very important what we're talking about today, because they are organized crime syndicate, and that's why Madchild was banned from the border. And just like with Rick Ross, I can say Rick Ross has skills, and I don't say Madchild actually has skills. I never bumped any of his stuff. I was just listening to some of it in this research, and he's got skills. He chooses good beats. But I would say, just because somebody has skills doesn't mean that they're dope, and it doesn't mean that that they're relevant. And I think that as far as innovation, I think that I don't think that the Battleaxe Collective is innovative. I would say they're kind of stylists. Or they're even classical music. Technically it's classical music, where it's like you're able to perfect that Cypress Hill sound or that nasal pitch voice sound from 1992, but it's 30 years later and you're still sounding exactly like 1994. Because that's kind of what, when I hear Madchild music, it sounds like stuff from the mid 90s, and he's kind of executing it perfectly. And we've talked about it before. Anthony Braxton was a jazz saxophonist that came up with the idea that you can break down innovation into three different categories: the reformists, who are the innovators; the stylists, who come in and capitalize off of those original reformers who usually don't make any money; and then the classical people that come in and just kind of repeat everything that everybody did. And that's kind of what, in my opinion, when I hear Madchild's music, is kind of on that tip. But we're not going to go too deep into the Hells Angels. I just wanted to show y'all that they're a international crime syndicate. That they human trafficking, drug trafficking, all types of stuff. So let's close out some of these windows. We got this Icarus, and close all that out. All right. So we're gonna get to that in a second. Let's see. Let's go back to. We're gonna go to this actually, let's go over to here, back where we were. I'm gonna close out this window. All right. So we're talking about Madchild, and I'm gonna click on this wiki. All right. So we got Madchild's wiki back open again. So this is Madchild, who we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about his record label, and this is Battleaxe Records. So if you go to Discogs, and we're going to be reporting this record as well. If you go to Discogs and you see the whole discography and you put it in chronological order, you're not going to see it, because it's like, look, this is Battleaxe Records, and from 97 all the way to let's say 2000, you don't see the record, and even if you type it in here, if you type Alvin's, they have it hidden. Alvin's, right? I'm gonna go like that, and it doesn't come up. You see, it's hidden. But if you type it actually in here, and you type, you actually type Alvin's. But I already have it opened up. I have it opened up right here. So this is the record that we're going to be talking about today. Alvin's Ars Fuzz Battle Breaks D's Nuts Volume 2. And we're going to be talking about this cover, because this cover is obviously, needs to be reported. And I can actually do that right now. So let me actually do that right now, because if you're, a parent, this is like a dad reaction. You're a parent, you're a dad like me, and if you're flipping through crates, and you see this, that's kind of it's something that parents and dads care about, and something that they don't want their kids doing. So we're talking about morality today, and I'm gonna click on this. So just bear with me for a second. So you can see what I'm writing. All right, so I think I submitted that. All right, so y'all see what I just submitted. So we're talking about this record. This is Battleaxe Records BX V6, and notice that this is the title of it, and we weren't able to find that title of it in here. When I typed Alvin's, it doesn't show up. So obviously they're hiding for a reason. But I've seen this in stores around the world. I've seen this in Atlanta, New York. I swear I've seen it in Cali, in Europe. This was a big record. This was a big LP, and and nobody's talking about this. So today we're gonna talk about this, and we're gonna click on. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. We're gonna click on the actual thing here. Let's click on this. And actually, before we click on that list, actually just go to the background so you can see a little bit more of the background on Shane Bunting. So Shane Bunting, aka Madchild of the Vancouver-based hip-hop group Swollen Members, has been denied entry into the U.S. American officials haven't confirmed the reasoning, but Bunting says he was turned back from the border after being held for several hours and in question over his links to the members of the Hells Angels biker gang. He has now been banned from the U.S. He's in pictures with all types of members, but let's see. So let me keep reading this. He has now been banned from the U.S., which will likely mean that the Juno winning group will have to cancel a North American tour planned for this spring. Bunting admits he was charged with assault when he was a minor, but has no other criminal record. However, in 2007, a SWAT team showed up at his Kelowna, BC home, British Columbia home, looking for the owner of a Dodge Ram pickup truck owned by a Hells Angels member that was parked in his driveway. In addition, 3 Hells Angels members appeared in his 2003 music video in full gang colors, and Swollen Members performed at a show last September, which was billed as a makeup session for warring gang members. So he's clearly down with the Hells Angels. And he's also started his own gang, the Battleaxe Warriors. He wants his fans to be like, these Battleaxe Warriors that are kind of on, kind of on the same tip. Because even with Bambaataa, he has people sending him money, for membership. So I don't know if you got to send the Battleaxe Warriors money, but if you go to Facebook, they're doing this kind of like Suicide Girls type of a thing where I think it's called like a Battle Axe Girl or Bax Girl or something, or I can't remember what they're doing, but you can see, it's just this kind of jock kind of locker room mentality that we were talking about with the Dirt Style records. It was very prevalent with Battle Records and things like that, and objectification of women and misogyny and all this type of stuff that that are parent issues, because a lot of people are like, why are you covering this stuff? And it's like, yeah, this is a dad reaction. These are dad issues. And also I'm going to talk about this Iron Cross thing too, because you see the Iron Crosses right here as part of Battleaxe Records stuff, and we were talking about white nationalism and stuff like that. Let's just click over to this. The Iron Cross, abbreviated EK, was a military decoration in the Kingdom of Prussia and later in the German Empire, 1871 to 1918, and the Nazi Germany regime, 1933 to 1945. The design of Black Cross Patay was a white or silver with a white or silver outline, was derived from the insignia of the medieval Teutonic Order and borne by its knights from the 13th century, as well as being a military medal. It has also been used as an emblem by the Prussian army, the Imperial German army, and the Reichswehr of the Weimar Republic, while the Balkan Kreuz bar cross variant was used by the Wehrmacht. The Iron Cross is now the emblem of the Bundeswehr, the modern German armed forces, right? So it's got a a heavy kind of it's a very heavy history with that cross, but y'all saw that original, Baby Spades jacket with the Gestapo flow in it. So that was like a early, Zulu chant. It was like, it was the Gestapo flow, type of thing, you know. So let's close this. So I just wanted y'all to see that. But let me just read this to King Frederick William III of Prussia established the Iron Cross award on March 17th, 1813, during the Napoleonic Wars. The award was backdated to the birthday, March 10th, of his late wife, Queen Louise, who was the first person to receive it posthumously. The Iron Cross was also awarded during the Franco-Prussian War, 1870, World War I, and World War II. During World War II, the Nazi regime made their own version by superimposing a swastika on the medal. The Iron Cross was usually a military decoration only, though some were awarded to civilians for performing military roles, including Hannah Reich and Melita Schenk. Grafen von Stauffenberg for being civilian test pilots during World War II. Since the late 20th century, the symbol has also been adopted into the outlaw motorcycle subculture and heavy metal fashion. So, so that's why this kind of all relates. I just wanted y'all to see that. And we're going to go into Madchild's Depravity a little bit more. So Gangsters Out blog, your alternative news source connecting the dots between political and organized crime. Let the ghetto gospel go forward into every hood possible job role, getting gangsters out of government. And I agree with this blogger because, right now the gangs, it's my homie H Prism from Anti-Pop Consortium was making a post once and on XXX Tentacion, and he was like, is it a prerequisite these days that you have like some extreme criminal record or some extreme abuse towards women or something like that just to get signed? And it seems like it is. Like, to get signed these days, you got to have bodies, or, it's like YNW Melly, it's like he did a school shooting before he was even signed to a record label. It's like he literally was on the news for doing a school shooting. So let's read this. So Madchild is seriously messed up. Someone sent me a link to another Shane Bunting, aka Madchild video, and it's deranged. You can see an element of his pal Weird Hal Porteous. Weird Hal is that flaming idiot who can't rap but has put out a couple of ridiculous attempts on video. Even other Hell's Angels think it's ridiculous and that he should save the rapping for swollen members. So you can see they're all here on this whole kind of Canadian biker gang, Canadian Hell's Angels rap tip. We know that Weird Hal and Shane Bunting are friends. The Vancouver Sun posted a photo of Hal Porteous and Shane Bunting posing with convicted Hell's Angels cocaine smuggler Rob Shannon. Weird Hal was also posing with Shane Bunting. Shane admitted to the press about his long-term Viagra and Oxycontin addiction and how he blew a huge amount of money on it. I wonder where he got the drugs from. Shane also admits to being a Hell's Angel associate. Before I dive into the deranged aspects of this video's Devil's Reject, let me touch on the geeky similarities between this one and one of Weird Hal's. After Weird Hal's remix of Happy Planets, I'm on a Boat, he released an even more ridiculous one of him dressed up as a geek, then transforming to what he thinks is a gangster, but turns out to be just another flaming idiot. Likewise, Shane starts off his Devil's Reject video dressed like a geek who stalks a woman, kidnaps, tortures, unalives, and then buries the victim. This has Robert Picton written all over it. Hal Porteous, I might add, lives in Coquitlam, not far from Picton Farm. Wally Opal shut down the public inquiry when it was revealed that Hell's Angels had a grow op and booze can on site and were very much involved with the Pictons on their farm. In the end of the video, he has her unalived corpse wrapped in garbage bags as he digs a grave for her. Then he drags her beside the graves and kicks her in. This is totally messed up. Fantasizing about criminal acts is deranged. This is very similar to Jim Brown, the RCMP officer who was involved with the Picton case and posted BDSM pictures of him with a model and a knife. The only good thing is that the brothers from Madchild had enough sense not to participate in this one. This video, Devil's Reject, is Shane Bunting showing the world how messed up he really is. So, that's why I'm connecting this, because we just did the Dirt style stuff and we saw the, the Cubert's label and Yoga Frog, putting out, very sadistic type of things, and mixing Scratchy Seal and mixing puppets with S&M and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, so let's close that. So I just wanted y'all to see that, and we're gonna take a look at this video. We're just gonna take just do a uh short glimpse. But I think, yeah, I had some quote here. I think, let's see, what was here. I think I had something saved here. Let's see.
Dance fire than the eagle. My ego and my ego are the reason
Let's see.
you're the weakest can. I got a dark past, hoping it'll disappear. But with the
So he said, I got a dark past, hoping it'll disappear. That's what I wanted y'all to see. That's all was that. All right, so here's the video that blogger was talking about. The blogger was talking about just this, Madchild video that was extremely depraved and stuff like that. And this overlaps and intersects with turntablism because, Madchild and his crew actually have, a lot of great scratches on a lot of their music. What's interesting is that over the years, with turntablism, it's only these underground pockets that still have, phrase scratch choruses and stuff like that. So we're gonna play a little bit of this. Boom. We're back. Whoops. So this is what the blogger was talking about, where he's, stalking a woman, and then, we already know what happens. And somebody was also saying, the last lecture that we did on the PMOS 100 AI function, a lot of people, not a lot of people, just one person was commenting, and they were like kind of trolling and being like, oh, it doesn't sound realistic. But the thing is like most of hip hop history has been a lot of punch-ins on scratches. Whether it's Premier, his whole style is based on, punching in different scratches, and a lot of those punch-in scratches, sometimes those things were, he might record his scratches into the MPC and then use the MPC to drop his cuts in or whatever. So, punch-ins and scratching have always been together. Scratching was always trying to sound very, robotic and things like that. But obviously, if you have a scratch that's looped, and it's the same flare scratch, and it's not a variation of it, it's going to sound a lot more robotic than if you had, let's say 5 different versions of a flare scratch, and then you loop those randomly. You wouldn't really be able to tell the difference. But if you just loop one flare scratch, then you can hear like, oh, that's a loop. So part of what's robotic is when you hear the same thing over. So as long as you have more diversity, then it's not going to sound robotic. All right, so yeah, and notice how these cuts are very, very influenced by Premier and his 90s kind of style that he invented. So this is all I just wanted y'all to see, that it's, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna skim through. Whoops. Let's see, like that. I'm gonna turn the volume off. So yeah, so I'm gonna just hit some different points in here. I'm gonna skip through so you can see, it's just, this is this is the same person that put out that battle record, you know what I'm saying? So, I just wanted to give you all some type of context, and obviously he's kind of building off of the Eminem type of vibes of like, just really dark gothic kind of I don't give a F type of thing. And even, Travis Scott and, a lot of people deal with a lot of dark stuff these days in their videos and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a lot of dark stuff going on in hip hop. But yeah, that's why I just wanted to cover these Hell's Angels people bringing, I would say, bringing hip hop down. I would say this doesn't help hip hop, and I feel artists should have the right to do whatever they want, you know what I'm saying, as long as it's legal. But I don't think that Battleaxe record cover falls into that category, right? According to Swelling Members lyricist Madchild, he lost around $3.5 million to a past drug addiction. The Canadian rapper spoke on the money he lost to addiction and more during a recent appearance on Boss Lady's International Affair radio show. Despite losing nearly $4 million to a drug addiction, Madchild revealed that he overcame his addiction to opioids and is working to rebuild his finances, the monetary loss that came with the addiction. He says he was able to rebuild his life super duper fast and is now working to buy his own home. I lost almost 4 million to a drug addiction that I had built from. Well, it was 3.5 or whatever. Madchild said, but I had built that from nothing, from being an underground independent hip artist. I was making paper. Thank God I'm back and I'm living life and I don't have to go and move boxes for a living. It feels great because I'm rebuilding my life super duper fast again. So all of a sudden, I got my dream truck again. I've got a dope apartment in West Hollywood. I got art money. I'm buying art. I'm saving money to buy a crib. My life is a blessing. So I'm not complaining. You can't say that I've been exactly sober, but you can say that I've been off opioids for 4 years. Due to his new lifestyle, Madchild revealed that he's adopted a new rule for his upcoming tour. According to the musician, those touring with him are only allowed to drink twice a month or stay sober completely. Don't know if I believe all that type of stuff. It's just interesting to see this because Madchild's been able to make way more money than most of the rappers that he sounds like. Like let's say you take somebody like Curious George. Curious George, is one of my favorite rappers from that early '90s, mid '90s era, and he's not making 4 million bucks or ever having 4 million bucks, and it just shows that with corporations and just the way that even Clear Channel and all these monopolies and the way that they work, it's much more beneficial and slanted towards artists of the European diaspora like Madchild versus black artists. They're not giving us all those nationwide tours and college radio plays. It's like, hey, you're underground music, and we're going to talk about that in the future because a lot of journalists were trying to segregate rap and say that underground music is black, like, oh, that's Daz Effects and Curious George, while indie hip hop is like Anticon and Swollen and Madchild. They try to make a whole nother genre and say that they're separate and say that it's indie rock. But we're going to cover that in the future. All right, so let's close this. Keeping it moving. Hopefully this is a shorter lecture today. Yeah, so let's see. So let's just close this. We know about all that. We covered Madchild. All right, let's keep closing this Madchild stuff. So let's read this. Shane Benning, better known as Madchild from the Vancouver hip hop group solo members, brings his new solo tour. Over the past few years, that rapper has battled severe prescription drug addiction, OxyContin, and rumors of gang affiliations with the Hell's Angels, and he was recently banned from the United States. Right, so we've been talking about that, but let's go to the actual content now. All right, and we just showed y'all this kind of German warfare kind of theme that he is using with the Iron Cross and all that type of stuff. And it's also interesting too because I was scrolling through this, and they had rest in peace to MCA from the Beastie Boys, but I noticed that there's no other rest in peace to any other rappers on here, which is kind of interesting when you think of like inclusion and stuff like that, where Black Americans, we lit Latino diaspora and Caucasian diaspora and Asian diaspora, Indian diaspora. We let everybody into our culture and let them participate. And we weren't segregating people. But what I've noticed is that over the years, many of the European diaspora pockets of hip hop subcultures and subgenres and things like that tend to exclude Black Americans from it. They did have a black cat in their group, but outside of that, everything else was very, very excluded. Like, you don't, it's very, very, outside of this one cat with dreads, everything is pretty much, all, Euro diaspora. And if you look at a lot of groups, DJs like Anticon and stuff like that, a lot of them don't have black DJs, you know what I'm saying, or Spanish DJs. And not saying that they have to, but it's just kind of interesting because you'll have these days a lot of big rappers like my homie Little B, his DJ is my homie Seb. My homie Sebastian. I went to school with. He's a Caucasian American. Um, I went to NYU with him, and a lot of even like Kanye and A-Track. A lot of black DJs now, a lot of black artists, to be able to get into certain doors, they have to have a Euro diaspora DJ to be able to play at certain festivals. Like, I booked Warrior Queen in the past. Me and Warrior Queen were playing in Spain, and she was telling me that she doesn't get booked unless she has a Euro diaspora DJ, like her work with the Bug and people like that. It's like if she's not rolling with the Bug or Euro DJ, they're not booking her in Europe. She's a Jamaican artist. She goes back and forth between Jamaica and the UK, but they're literally not booking her. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally like, that's what I was saying. There's a lot of racial exclusion in underground rap touring, and a lot of the Euro artists aren't aware of it, that they're getting that white privilege, but it is there, and you can see just from all these what I'm scrolling, that it's a very it's a very the targeting is very much towards young males that um uh might be into some white nationalist kind of stuff too, not just like hardcore and this and that, you know, as you can see, right, with the Hells Angels stuff. That's why I just wanted to show you all the Hells Angels background. But all right, so we're gonna read this thing on demoralization. So demoralization. This year we're gonna be talking about a lot of demoralization stuff. Actually, the next couple years, maybe the next whole decade. But with hip hop, it's a big issue because everybody's talking about is Sexy Red a plant and stuff like that. And I think she is a plant. I think a plant's anybody that's outside the culture, or outside of being an artist, that's promoted as an artist, even though they're not an artist. Like Sexy Red wasn't an artist, and people are like, "Oh, you should do rap. You should do rap. It'll be funny." And so it's the same thing with when it's like a Hell's Angels, like just some dude that can't even rap, like that article was talking about, and they're just like trying to act like they're you know Tom Waits over a beat or something like that. And I'm not against those styles. I think every style is cool, like Buck 65 and all different types of styles. I think every style of rap is cool, but I don't like when things start getting segregated, and then it's only indie Euro diaspora artists that are making all the money. Because if you see like with Buck 65 and all that, they were trying to make him to be like, they thought Buck 65 was the beginning of a new genre, and he was just gonna take over like and be like the new Bob Dylan or something, type of a thing. But let me just read this demoralization, as it relates to corporations and colonial demoralization. So demoralization is a context of warfare, national security, and law enforcement, a process of psychological warfare with the objective to erode morale among enemy combatants and or non-combatants, so that's civilians, that can encourage them to retreat, surrender, or defect rather than defeating them in combat. So, like I was saying before, at the end of the civil rights era, I'm actually the first free generation. Before, there was hundreds of years of wars, of Europeans accosting black Americans like myself, and the war ended in the late '60s, and that's when all these youth gangs and stuff started coming out. So it's a very interesting thing. Now we have corporations that are using this kind of demoralization thing to where if you look at the old images of black families, everybody was wearing suits, and everybody was moral. There was no ratchetness. There was none of that before the 80s. You know what I'm saying? Before they brought in crack, and they brought in the heroin in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. Same thing would happen in China. They brought in the heroin and the opium for to subjugate the Chinese. So demoralization methods are military tactics such as hit and run attacks, such as snipers, disturbing the enemy with less lethal weapons, and incapacitating agents, and intimidation, such as display of force, concentration, right? So that's one type. Those are some types, and we see that with the gang violence that's happening. People are afraid. I'm afraid to tell people I rap in Atlanta, because of all the violence. I don't want people coming through my studio. I'm scared to work with new people in hip hop in Atlanta, because it's like people might be trying to rob people, and I do music videos for people, and I'm like, hey, I don't want somebody to try to rob my drone or rob my equipment to do music videos in Atlanta, because it's like it's just so it's so much effery out here. It's totally out of control. It's just the gangs are all dominant. Anybody that's a up and coming rapper is a gang member these days. And it's scary for people that aren't gang members like myself. Some methods on the strategic scale are commerce, raiding, strategic bombings, static operations such as sieges and naval blockades, and propaganda. So propaganda is one of the biggest wings, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Is just this propaganda, right? So the importance of morale. Morale is often perceived as a necessary precursor to success in internal relations. Success most often goes to those who believe in their cause. So like I was saying before, Black Americans, we believed in our cause. We were trying to get equality. And now the youth don't even care about equality, because they're just everybody's ratchet. Not everybody, obviously, but there's a large block that's becoming more and more the majority of people that are ratchet and kind of brainwashed, and the morale is getting lower and lower through these corporations just constantly feeding us gang members and stuff like that, because Cardi B's a blood, they're all bloods. Nicki's a blood, Sexy Red's a blood, that's why she calls herself Sexy Red. Meg Thee Stallion, they're all bloods. And even all the male rappers, they're all bloods. And the one Crip that was able to make it into the pop sphere, Pop Smoke, was murdered before he could even, be on the radio. And they started putting his stuff on the radio after his death, just like with XXXTentacion. So the modern citizen is asked to participate in wars such as that have never been seen before. All men must prepare for war, and for a dreadful type of war at that, dreadful because of its duration, the immensity of its operations, its tremendous losses, and the atrocity of the means employed. Moreover, participation in war is no longer limited to the duration of the war itself. There's a period of preparation for war, which becomes more and more intense and costly, and then there's the period in which to repair the ravages of war. People really live in a permanent atmosphere of war, and a superhuman war in every respect. Nowadays, everybody's affected by war. Everybody's lives under its threat. The more demanded of man, the more powerful must be those motivations. Right, and we see in Chicago and all over, America. I've had 3 cousins that have been killed, 2 shot in the back of the head. Like I said before, my, great grandfather that was a Mason was shot in the back of the head. It's just it's very common for Black males to be murdered here in America. So we see what's happening in so a lot of people say like, hey, everybody's protesting over Israel and all that type of stuff, which they should be, because there's all those atrocities over there. But there's also that same type of apartheid that's going out there is something that just happened all around the world, that Europeans brought apartheid to places all over that they wanted to dominate. So we see that psychological warfare. We're gonna be getting a lot more deep into all this. This is interesting, but we're gonna be getting deeper in the future in all this. But today we're just lightly touching on demoralization, just to show you all what the concept of demoralization is, and obviously that's used in rap, right? And in the before the 50s and 60s, Black families were very, very moral, very, very high standing, very godly, you know what I'm saying, and very organized, very insular, and doing well economically in our own communities. And then when integration happened, we changed places, where it was kind of like trading places, where the apartheid society was the ones that were being unmoral, and the people that were being subjected were the moral ones. And then now we've switched to where the dominant society is trying to say that they're the moral ones, and they've kind of conditioned and groomed us into being immoral, with all types of artists and all types of media and stuff like that. And this is kind of interesting, because this is actually like a Nazi flyer that was trying to get targeted at Black Americans, trying to get them to be scared and go back home and give up fighting in the war. But we obviously know, it didn't happen like that, and we stomped them. You know what I'm saying? We stomped those Germans, right? And I was in Germany, and this German guy came up to me and did the the Adolf salute, and he did it in the air, and then he tried to make it look like he was gonna give me a high five. He was like give me a high five, and he turned it, and I was like, hell no, And then somebody told me that I could have actually gone to the police when he did that to me, because he just literally came up to me and did the salute. You know what I'm saying? So it's still real. People feel like, oh, all that stuff's forever ago, but I'm the first free generation, so all that stuff's not forever. Affirmative action just got repealed. Roe versus Wade just got taken away. Things can change really quickly. So as we end this lecture, now we're going to go into the main core of all of this. So we're going to talk about this break record. This break record used to have a sleeve on the outside of it when I would see it in record stores, where you couldn't really see, you can see what's going on. Obviously, it looks like some type of dance, but you couldn't, the reflection of those type of things when you have a plastic encase around it, the reflection kind of makes it hard to see everything that's inside of it. So we're going to click on this. All right, so you can see this. This is obviously, a dad issue. If you're a dad and you don't want your, kids seeing stuff like this in the record stores. Now, if, this one obviously looks like everybody looks like they're college age, right? It looks like, looks like this is like a frat thing, and, but even this right here is kind of like on that whole Rick Ross, she didn't know it type of thing, to where, where if people are jumping in the room like that, even if both of them are like ha 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 ha, that's still that's still a form of assault. This, both of the people, we don't know who's the one that is playing the joke on the other, or how these people all came in, or what's going on. But even if somebody's laughing at something, deep down, this woman that was here could have been like, hey, she could have been hurt by that, you know what I'm saying? And not wanting everybody to see what was going on, but this right here, I've been looking at this a lot, and this is disgusting, because, this is literally, this looks like, if you look at everybody's ages here, it doesn't seem like the person is it seems like this could be a junior high dance. This could literally be a junior high prom dance, because the girls are taller. It seems like the girls are taller than the boys, right? This doesn't seem like adults to me. This doesn't seem like, if you look at, this guy's face, it looks like, these people look like they never had any facial hair. Like, look at his face, look at the guys' faces. It's like, yeah, with the girls, it's hard to tell. It's like, exactly what their ages are, but this doesn't seem like a bunch, this could be high school or college, but it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't, and this is, Hell's Angels rappers putting this stuff out, right? You can see their Battleaxe brand. It looks like Mattel. That's like the Mattel logo, which is a, children's company. So, this is a very, very big issue in hip hop, and we can see, like I was saying, look at this guy's face. He looks like he's never shaved in his life, and if you just see how they're kind of dressed, they seem like they're dressed like this is 8th grade or something, and the boys are the girls are just as tall or taller than the boys, because when puberty hits in, it's usually the girls that get taller first. But yeah, that's that's literally smut, and we got rap groups called smut peddlers, and it's a big thing, in hip hop. Demoralization is a very cool thing, in hip hop, and in turntablism has been a very cool thing, and in general. And so yeah, that's what I'm just if you're a woman and you're a turntablist and you're going through these, you're going through the record store and you see something like that. That could be totally shocking. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really, really, and to me, it's shocking now as a dad. Because back then, I was just like, ha ha ha, that those must be adults. But we don't know, how old those people are, and they don't, look old at all. Just looking at the kids' faces, because nobody has any stubble, nobody, you can see when somebody's face is kind of weathered to where that they shave, versus somebody that's never shaved in their life. You know what I'm saying? That somebody just has some peach fuzz. And it's very interesting too that they hid it. Remember, we saw that, they hid that record. But yeah, that's basically it for today. I just wanted to show y'all the influence of Hell's Angels debauchery on turntablism, specifically on because this battle record. This was a big record that's all over the world. Who knows how many copies of this they sold, and it's still selling. Look, last sold September 2nd, 2003, all over the world. People are selling this and buying it. Like if you look at you look at on the internet, you type in Alvin's Fuzz Battle Breaks These Nuts Volume 2. You see it's all over. It's over eBay. It's just all over. And you see I reported the picture because I'm an upstanding citizen. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people would say, "Oh, who are you to judge?" Well, as far as righteousness, that's what judgment is, and being judgmental is taking looking at matters and believing in morality and having your own sense of dignity. But you see all over the internet, this image is all over the internet. It's huge. This record, it's all over the world, and it's like a collector's item for a lot of people because you can see they're like, it's kind of like like I was saying, magazine art. A lot of magazines or zines or out there art. It's totally unregulated, and I would suggest people flag this image, especially if you're a parent, you're a dad like me. This is totally. Oh, and look, you see the overlap. I just typed this one record, and look, all the pickle stuff comes up because Google knows that there's a connection between this kind of like we see this BDSM scratchy seal and this Battle Break These Nuts record, because yeah, this is a very, very, and I don't even know when this came out, because when you see the year on Wikipedia, they don't really show you they don't show you what year it came out. Notice that it doesn't come up or here in the battle record thing, and then when it says what year it came out, release, they won't show you what time it came out. So it's like they're kind of trying to hide it, even though it's still in circulation and it's huge. All right, so yeah, that's what today's lecture. We're all done with that, and then you can see here, Battleaxe Records is literally a gang. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Battleaxe Warriors. He's when he rebranded and he started up Battleaxe Warriors. You can see he's just got devoted legions of fans. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that type of cover is very sick because it's it's, to me, they totally do not look like they're high schoolers or college people and stuff like that. But yeah, with the Hell's Angels, that's what you're gonna get, because a lot of people don't know the Hell's Angels, they led to a lot of people's deaths. Even at like Woodstock and different types of large giant events, the Hell's Angels were a big part of that, of people getting hurt and attacked and stomped and things like that. Um, and yeah, so we're going to be talking about more gang issues and even gang notation and stuff like that in the future. Because a lot of gangs have their own notation systems and things like that. And we're always covering different types of notation and things like that. So we're going to be covering the real details of all these things. But yeah, I'm just giving y'all some background of all this, and yeah, so we just covered just Hell's Angels as it relates to Icarus and Madchild, right? And that's it. So catch y'all later. Peace.